when a human being is born, a certain software is set within himself, which is a combination of time, energy, and the information that he carries with him. These three together will determine various aspects of life. These three together will even determine how long a human being lives and how he lives. So if this is so, is this all predetermined? The information is definitely predetermined. This does not mean you cannot take in new information. It is just that it kind of pushes you or pulls you towards certain type of things, depending upon what kind of information you have. But this does not stop you from taking in fresh information today, this moment. Energy is allotted for different aspects of life. This information that we were talking about, the whole heap of information, is referred to as sanchita or sanchita karma. The allotted information which must be handled, which is more urgent, express, and a little more compulsive than the rest of it. This information that you have is from elsewhere, what life has gathered. The energy allotted within the system allots according to the nature of the information. If your information or the karmic information is leaning towards or veering towards, let's say, for example, physicality, you will see the energies naturally allot themselves into the physical structure of who you are. If the information is leaning towards your intellectual process, accordingly the energy allots itself to that activity. If the information is very emotional, energy allots itself to that dimension. If it is inclining towards a spiritual dimension, then energy allots itself in that direction. This allotment is happening by natural tendencies, but this does not mean one cannot reallocate. One can reallocate, but if you simply go by your tendencies, yes, life is predetermined. If you are 100% a slave of your tendencies, life is predetermined. Very easily we can predict what will happen. Reallocation of energy, how we manage our energies, in which direction we focus on energies, do we enhance it or do we deplete it? These things are very much in our hands. But the third dimension, which is an important composite of one's life, is the time. Time ticking away all the time. You can't slow it down, you can't hasten it. You can conserve your energy, you can throw your energy around, you can develop it, you can make it phenomenally big or insipid, but time going away. So this time has its own intelligence and it flows according to certain parameters of karmic information, and the energy allotment that's available in one's system. So can't we do anything about it? We can, but that is a much more elusive dimension of life than the other two. The other two are much easier to manage and manifest in one's life, generating energy and using it the way you want. Not allowing your tendencies to determine the nature of your thought and emotion and activity is much, much easier than taking charge of time. Even the Adiyogi took charge of time only when he was in certain states. When he was in such states, we refer to him as Kala Bhairava, that he took charge of time. Time determines the nature or the duration of one's life and death. Both life and death are within the ambit of time. So time, one who has mastery over time has mastery over life and death. One who has mastery over his energies has absolute mastery over his life, but not over his death. One who has mastery over his information, or one who has mastery over the tendencies which are caused by the information, or one who is free from the tendencies which are caused by the type of karmic information you carry, has mastery over the quality of his life, that whether this is pleasant or unpleasant. One who has mastery over his energies will determine the nature of his activity and how he lives. One who has mastery over time will determine the nature of his life and death, and he can determine whether he wants to live or die. So these three components together is the making of life. These three components together is what you are right now. Depending upon what type of karmic information you have, you tend to go towards a certain type of information, certain type of activity. Depending upon how your energy is allotted, you naturally tend to choose certain type of activity. If one grasps these three dimensions within yourself, that you are a combination of time, energies and information, if you can conduct all these three things effectively, then you're free in every way. In every way. That's liberation, that's mukti.